Am I my brother's keeper?
Yes, I am.
Good morning, everybody. The weekend is finally here. I would like to welcome all our family and friends and guests to the Man Cave Dialogue Show here on Love Radio Network, Facebook Live, Roku TV, and Spotify. Once again, I'm your host, Eric Yarborough.
And I'm your co-host, Daryl Ashton, aka C.
And I'm special guest, Dr. Cedric C. Maddox, aka Pastor C.
Welcome on in, Pastor
Good
C.
morning, fellas. What's happening?
Good morning, Pastor C. How you feeling this morning?
Hey, man, I'm doing great, man. It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood. How you guys doing?
We are doing good.
Can't complain, not yet, till the show starts. Hey, we're coming to you live, and thank you for tuning in and sharing your time with us this morning. Family and friends, you could join the Man Cave Dialogue Show here live by dialing 563-999-3519 and press 1. C.
Yes, sir.
Pastor C wasn't with us last week, but we had the birthday party.
Yes.
For Dr. Marlene Mahipat.
Yeah.
How you enjoyed that last week, brother?
I enjoyed that. I enjoyed being there with her, celebrating her birthday at the shelter we were at up in Aberdeen.
Rosedale. Franklin Square.
Franklin Square.
Yeah.
I enjoyed being there, seeing the kids smile, giving back to them.
Yeah. Big shout out to Dre. I think Doc sent me a text, said he donated,
Oh yeah, he did
donated for the
pizzas.
pizza.
Yeah,
Appreciate that, Dre. Thanks for helping out. We ran out of pizzas last week, Pastor C, so we had to go ahead and start getting some more.
Yeah. So we had a couple of
If you would have asked Jesus, he would have multiplied it.
You right? You're right, but we had to do it on the fly.
But it was really nice. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
What about you?
Nah, I mean that's what I love, man. I was anxious all night. I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
sleep, going back and forth. I thought it was, it was interesting for us to, give back. That's something that I like to do, and me and Doc, we have something in common. We like
Mm-hmm.
helping people, so that's one thing that resonates over both of us. So
Right.
just definitely want to give Doc another happy birthday shout out, and
Yeah. Happy
thanks
woo woo.
thanks for allowing us to be
Yes, a
do our
part of
show
it.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, see, this week's shows, man, it's gonna be our topic this week is about Dave Chappelle.
Uh-oh.
About the show, his stand up,
The closer.
the closer, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the closer. And I wanted to talk about it because it seems like it's a lot of controversy and a mix up and stirring with like Netflix, the workers, the LGBTQ,
Community.
yeah, community. So
And that stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and questioning.
these terms are used to describe a person's sexual orientation or gender identity.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of them was, I guess, feeling some kind of way about. I mean, he went in. He went in.
Yeah.
And I think he went in this time because last his other stand up, he didn't really talk about him too much.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he did talk about them all in the car together, and yeah, it was controversial. But this time, it's like, and me personally, you know, I have nothing against the LGBTQ community. I just think that it was comedy. I don't think he meant anything personal, and I just think that everybody take things the wrong way. Just like Kevin Hart, he tweeted in 2011. I read it. Yo, if my son comes home and try to play with my daughter's dollhouse, I'm going to break it over his head and say in my voice, "Stop, that's gay." He tweeted that. He tweeted that in 2011.
In 2011.
And now he was supposed to host the Oscars in 2020. But he couldn't because the LGBTQ community said something about a tweet he did in 2011.
So they held him accountable for
His tweet.
his tweet
Yeah.
back in 2011.
In 2011.
And what year we in now?
2021.
Wow.
So he couldn't do the Oscars. And he apologized.
Mm-hmm.
But the Oscars.
Still wouldn't let him do the
Nope.
Oscars.
So
fellas, what I find interesting about that.
What's that?
As we talk about these different topics and things of this nature, uh, and again, I fully understand. I'm with you, Eric. There is not a personal bias or anything of that nature, but I'm just going to stand up for right now, just a moment, because we can joke and we can put down our most sacred institutions, and doesn't seem like anybody gets offended. We're not going to hold it over their heads for years. You know what I'm saying? Ricky Smiley has made his money that way. Steve Harvey. I can go on and on about the list of comics, man. Cedric the Entertainer, that make jokes and fun of our most sacred institution, God's church, and nobody's offended. Nobody's writing, nobody's going to the media to fight a war, but certain groups can, we can make fun about each other as African Americans, we can make fun about all kinds of things, but certain groups get offended, and then all of a sudden we're ready to disqualify, or the cancel culture comes out. To me, man, I'm having an issue with that, but nevertheless, it's that's not our topic, but I just find it interesting. I don't know if
no,
you guys do, but I do.
I understand what you're saying. Like the whole N word. They don't say nothing about. You remember they was trying to do something about let's ban the N word. Remember that back in the day? They was like let's ban the N word. Then it died down.
Yes.
And I think I'm with you. It's like there's so many different things. And one thing I was telling C's the other day when we was talking about this, I tell him like the difference is with all the different cultures, is the LGBTQ community is mixed of everyone. So
Oh
it's
yeah,
like it's not just like one culture or anything trying to do something. It's
it's
a mixture of multiple people, a whole bunch
band
of people.
together.
Yeah. And they sticking together. They sticking together on this. So, C's, how you feel, C's?
Uh, so uh, I had this conversation with my wife and my daughters the other night after I left here, and I watched Dave Chappelle's stand up, and I love Dave Chappelle. I like his stand up. I just like him. I'm a fan of his. Um, and I watched it twice.
Twice?
I watched it twice.
Johnson had to do it one.
It had to
Johnson.
kick in. It had to kick in.
Johnson to Johnson.
And in his stand up, he's not against anybody's gender, not against anybody's gender. He even had this lady, her name was Daphne. She was transgender,
Yeah.
and he had her be his opening act when he go out to, like, I think LA or California.
Hey, but when he closed, I was cracking up.
Oh, when he
you know what he said.
When he said about the daughter.
Yeah, he
and
said he said when your daughter get older, and I gotta tell her
your mom
was a hell of a man.
Was a hell of a man.
I lost it, C's.
It was funny. And us, like Pastor C said, with us talking about comedians back then, you would have to go all the way back to shut every comedian down for everything they said about anything, be it church, be it well, jokes about each other with with us, with black people, jokes about white people, even with the N-word, as you said, with the N-word. Back in the day they tried to cancel the N-word, but still everybody still used it. If it was that big of a deal, why didn't we get together? Why people haven't gotten together so close to ban that, to get that shut down?
They won't. They won't.
I mean, man, think about it. Think about it. I mean, guys, we can talk about Cat Williams. We can talk about Chris Rock. We can talk about comedians who have basically walked the line, pushed the envelope, talked about certain groups or political climates, right? And yet, we do not see this, if you will, flare up, especially in the media, as we do with one particular entity or group. And earlier, you guys were talking about the fact that it touches everybody. Well, look, man, everybody has some type of belief. Okay. It could be, you don't have to just talk about one particular denomination, one particular movement, one particular faith, one particular religion. Everybody has some type of belief. And yet jokes are cracked about everybody. And so we don't hold those things so dear and so sacred. We should, we let Hollywood get away with things. Maybe that's the reason why we don't take our faith walks as seriously as we should, because it's cracked on. It's always a joke,
Right.
It's always a joke. But when we get here, we walk in a thin line. We walk in a thin line. And so I'm not saying anything against that. I'm just saying, okay, where are the lines drawn? Because we're becoming a culture now where we don't know where the lines are drawn, and we don't know what we can talk about and what we can't talk about. We really don't.
Right.
I mean, if he made Asian jokes, you know what I'm saying? If he made some Asian jokes, would we be having the same discussion?
He did. We did talk about the coronavirus.
Hey, and another one and another thing I wrote down here. He said, and then it does. Disgusting the baby, for example. In our country, you can shoot and kill somebody, but you better not hurt a gay person's feelings. That's exactly what he said.
Yeah.
Never mind that the baby on stage commented about AIDS at the Rock and Stone Festival, where truly out of pocket, or that the apology that followed was late and lackluster. But eventually he apologized. But like he was saying, that you could kill somebody. But if you hurt a gay person's feelings, that's what he said. That was his stand up about the baby.
But I would say this: now in these days, nowadays, that whole it has changed. Back in the day, we didn't have it wasn't all these problems with the with the gay community. With
Hey, we used to use when I was growing up.
uh-huh,
We used to use that word loosely,
uh-huh.
and Pastor C probably can tell you the same thing. When we
Mhm.
growing up, we just we didn't mean nothing by it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And when Kevin Hart tweeted that, he probably we didn't mean nothing by that.
Mm-hmm.
Coming up, growing up where we was, you're like, oh yeah, don't do that, that's gay, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But we didn't mean oh, you gay.
Right.
You know what I mean? But now if you say that, tweet it, like Kevin Hart, I'm trying to tell you, in 2011, they went back 2011 in the Oscars because the LGBTQ community boycott. I mean, they went and said they don't want him to host. They backed out on him. Oscars could have said, "Yo, we're gonna stick with you,"
Right.
but they didn't.
No, because they would lose so much. They would lose so much.
But that's why we're here now, and I think that it's important for
Yeah.
us to talk about it because, like, comedians don't mean nothing, man. They selling tickets.
Yeah.
They want to do what they have to do, man.
They got to
You
eat.
know?
They eating.
Most comedians, if you ever been to a comedy show, most comedians they find one thing to pick on and they go with it. You know, they don't. And I think personally, for me, and I haven't talked to Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle, he didn't mean no harm.
I know he didn't.
Yeah.
I know he didn't. Not at all. Not at all. It's just him. You know.
So from what y'all saw, Pastor C and C.
Yeah.
So what y'all saw, do you feel like the outrage for the closer? If is it all right for the people to be upset because some people walked out of Netflix. They walked out of Netflix. I think they got fired and everything. They boycotted. They did a walkout. The people got fired
from Netflix, like
from
producers and stuff.
The people that work for Netflix.
Oh wow.
Yeah, a couple people got because one lady, I think she released all the records of the pays and people do crazy stuff, man. So she did all of that. She got fired. A couple people got fired.
So all this because of Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle. Yep. So do y'all feel the outrage is justified from his stand-up? How do y'all feel about that?
Go ahead, Pastor C.
Well, I'm gonna jump in with a short answer and then explain it. Do I feel like the outrage is justified? No. Do I think everybody has a right to their opinion and their feelings? Most definitely. We all do. However, if that's the case, every time that there's an African American joke cracked, then or any subculture group of anyone, then does it justify some of the other things? I find it interesting that again we can see African American men killed in the street, shot 7 times in the back. We can go down the list of names, and no one thinks it's justified for there to be an outrage by people, and they will always, encouraging some type of be calm, let's talk. Well, I'm here to say, we've been talking for years, and we still seeing the same activities. So, with that being said, I'm gonna go with no, be calm, let's talk.
Right, I understand. Yeah, I agree with you, and I will add to that is that just like I said, watching his stand up again, for me, it was like he was saying we have more issues in this world to deal with. He made a joke, was talking about Martin Luther King, talking about, if Martin Luther King knew what he knew, the movement would have got further. He made a joke talking about the slaves. If the slaves knew what was if they knew what is now, they should have did that back then. They would have been free a long time ago. So I agree with you and Eric on the views and which I think, and I just think it's crazy how the world has things just it's all tangled up. It's all tangled up in how it's going now.
I don't agree with y'all.
You don't?
Yeah, I don't.
What you think?
Seize, don't
I,
seize,
I think we
seize.
should. I think they should have outrage like we have outrage, like people shooting unarmed black men. We should be outraged. If they feel like somebody crossed the line, they should have outrage. It's a way to dictate the outrage, though. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We had positive
Okay.
protests. Like I just say, come down, sit down, let's talk about it. It's ways like I don't think that we could take how they feel because I'm not part of the community. I don't know.
Right.
But when the thing happened to George Floyd, that's why I took me and my sons the walk because that touched me. That's outrage for us. I found a way to do that outrage. So y'all saying no, I say yes. They should be able to. They should be able to feel the way they feel, but they got to have certain ways of justification of trying to show how they're gonna make changes instead of walking out and leaking information. Let's just cancel him. Understand where he's coming from. If he's saying, "Hey, this is how I'm performing. This is my performance."
Eric, can I just give a little perspective here, though? Right? We're talking about a comedian versus a cop.
Oh yeah, I understand.
You see what I'm saying? So when you start releasing, paid records and all this kind of stuff, I really, how many jokes do African Americans endure in a workplace environment, and we have to kind of smile and walk away because we don't want to be taken as angry. Are you getting what I'm saying here? And so if we want to express that someone, and I've known too many cases of African Americans going to HR and taking proper steps, going through proper channels, they lose their job versus the culture changing. So I see what you're saying, and I'm with you. Everybody has a right to express how they feel.
Right.
But we're talking about somebody dying in the street, bruh. You and I both have sons. See, you got a little son. All right. And so we got sons here, and we have to be conscientious of them leaving our house versus somebody telling a joke, because we endure jokes all the time. And even if we think we are experiencing workplace hostility, what usually ends up happening is that there is a loss of the case for those of us who have been discriminated against versus those who are doing the discriminating. So maybe it's me, man, because the bottom line is we've been dealing with this so long, man. I mean, I'm just having kind of this whole, when we talk about expressing something, and yeah, I get it. Let's express. But at the end of the day, we don't need to have this kind of stuff.
Nah, I understand when
nobody died. That's all I'm saying. Nobody died.
Nah, I understand. Hey, but the thing about it though, no one died, but you've been getting bullied all your life. True. And that's one thing that we would never, we don't understand that because we're not in that,
I just understand being oppressed all my life. I just understand being discriminated against all my life. I just understand being racial profiled all my life. I just understand that. That's what I understand. I understand that somebody looks at my name on a resume and already determine whether or not they're going to hire me all my life. I just understand that when my son is up there at Dartmouth, they automatically assume that he's there because of his athletic ability, not his academic ability. That's all I get all my life. That's all I get.
Yo, we all get that. I understand.
Okay, so then when we talk about somebody being bullied all their life, bro, slow down, because that's what we get all the time, 24/7. You know what I'm saying? 24/7. Even as a people, when we attach certain agendas to the civil rights agenda, look, bro, I can't hide the fact that I'm a black man. That can't be hidden.
None of us can.
Okay, then therefore, when you talk about somebody being bullied all their life, we have to. Somebody being joked on all their life, we have to. Someone being discriminated against all their life, we have to. Come with it, bro.
So what can you say to a black gay man that has double what you're talking about? Wow. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, so we talk about again, man. You talked about
all the same.
Look, you were asking about the response, right?
Yeah, no,
And the
I'm just talking about.
justification of the response.
I'm just talking about we. So now you're talking about everything. So now you're talking about it's. There's black people part of the LGBTQ community, so they get discriminated and bullied. They got double whammies. They got worse than we all getting because they probably getting bullied. They getting, I went to school with a guy, and I remember this like nothing. There was a guy in my school, and I was one of those guys that probably picked on him. I swear. And we was part of the PGC. It was peer group connection.
Mm-hmm.
And when we went on this retreat, the lady Miss Wynn, she put me and my buddy Vine in there with them. Me and Vine like we didn't want to go to sleep. You know why?
She thought you was gonna mess with you.
Yeah.
Wow.
But so we sat and talked to him,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, "Nah, he explained it to us."
Mm-hmm.
So then when I went back, when people picked on him, I took up for him. So you know what they used to call me?
What?
Gay lover. Oh, just because I took up for him. At the end of the day, he didn't mean no harm.
No.
He just wanted to be treated equal. But people
Right.
always,
saw him different.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. A guy that's black and he's like that, he gets picked on, he gets all that. He got a double whammy.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing against what we went through. I'm just saying overall, we don't know what people's going through. Like
That's
us,
true.
we go through that. Like Pastor was saying, we got sons, we go out. Just like my son.
Okay.
When he goes out, I be looking at I can't sleep. I don't go to sleep till he come home. I don't, because you, like Pastor said, you nervous. I don't want to get that phone call. I'm always up. That's just something that we got to be aware of.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's bad. Like you're saying, it's bad. But I just saying, I got to be the devil's advocate. It's always two sides. And we won't know if someone's out there that's part of the LGBTQ community, dial in and talk to us. 563-999-3519. Press 1. Because I think it's important to have someone on because we're talking from 3 straight men. We don't know.
Right.
And it's important to get somebody else's perspective.
Right.
If we can get somebody else's perspective, that would help
Can I
us.
ask a question, Cease?
Go ahead.
Cease, can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
Cease, how tall are you?
I'm 6'2".
How tall are you?
6'2".
Eric, how tall are you?
6'4".
I'm saying Eric. Okay.
6'4".
So y'all talking to a brother that's 5'8", been bullied all my life about being short.
You a midget?
Even you don't know how much it meant to me for my 2 boys to be over 6 feet tall.
Wow.
When they grew over 6 feet tall, man, I about shouted for joy. I don't know where he went to, but you know what I'm saying?
I'm back.
Okay. But I say that, man. I say that because, today's topic is about a certain demographic.
Mm-hmm.
We can go through every demographic and find something. Right?
Yeah, you're
and
right.
All I'm responding to, Eric, is, yes, I believe they have a right to be outraged. I'm 100% down with the right to be outraged and feel how they feel. I'm just kind of questioning the response and how that outrage was expressed. Because for me being a short black dude, right? And it was too easy for people to pick on me because I'm this short dude, because I'm not over 6 feet tall. So when my oldest son reached 6'1", my second boy is 6'3", right? I still get picked on. I get picked on with people asking me questions like, "You sure they're yours?"
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
Why? Because I'm short.
Wow.
My dad was shorter than I am. So can you feel that, it's like all of my life, man, I've been dealing with the short man syndrome, been turned down by, for dates when I was younger because I'm short.
Why the girls was tall? Was you trying to climb that tree?
Hey, bro, I told them we were all the same size when we lay down, but hey, it was what it was. It was what it was when it was. Y'all get what I'm saying? Y'all get what I'm saying? Nobody's gonna let me do some of the things that have been done in response to Dave Chappelle's jokes because I've been bullied all my life about being short. That's all I'm saying.
All right, you're right. You got a point. So, Pastor C, we're at the halfway point here on Roku TV, Facebook Live, Love Radio Network. We're gonna take a quick commercial break. Come back with a word from Pastor, and then we get right back in it. We'll be right back. Thank you. Welcome back, everybody, on Love Radio Network, Roku TV, Facebook Live,
and Spotify.
Once again, I'm Eric Yarbrough, your host.
And I'm your co-host, Cordero Ashton, a.k.a. C.
And again, Dr. Cedric Maddox here, Pastor C.
All right, go ahead, Pastor. So, give us a word.
Give us a word. Okay, well, first of all other things aside, let's just begin by talking about Dave Chappelle and where he was going. Dave Chappelle was recognizing that there are sexual identity genders at the beginning of life. Everybody's life is identified one way or the other. And the stance that he takes, it actually comes out of the Bible. It says, nevertheless, neither is a man independent of a woman, nor a woman independent of the man. For a woman came from men, even so men also comes through woman. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, sons and daughters out there, we got to understand and recognize that even in the very beginning, God created them. The Bible says in Genesis 1:27. And with that being said, we have a right to choose our identity. Everyone does. Everybody has a right to express their feelings, their emotions, their positions. I think in this particular situation is that we can be upset with Dave Chappelle's jokes. We can be upset with his satire, but we cannot be upset with his stance. He has a right to that stance. For those of us who believe that God created the heavens and the earth and also created man in his image, then we also believe that God created he, them, male and female. It is our sin. It is our faults. It is our flaws down through centuries and generations that have brought some things to bear that we may or may not necessarily like or agree with, but it does not erase the fact that you cannot change biology. You cannot change theology. You can change identity, and you can do that anytime that you want, because God is a God of pro-choice. He allows you to choose. But at the end of the day, he still creates us, male and female. This is your word today from Dr. Cedric C. Maddox, aka Pastor C.
Amen.
Good job. I don't know about them, because every time I hear them, I think what's my man name? Bernie Mac.
Bernie Mac. Them downs. Him.
Yeah.
No, him downstairs.
Him downstairs. Him downstairs. Something wrong with you, see. Something wrong with you, see.
Him downstairs.
See? Get in trouble for that if he was here.
He would have.
Remember that pastor? He'll get in trouble for that. Because that was part of his whole
stand-up.
Yeah, that was part of his whole stand-up.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well,
when he was making fun of the boy.
Yeah. The special. Yeah. Yeah, the special guy.
I mean, yeah, if you think about it, Damon Wayans, right?
Yep, you're right.
And his whole skit about, the power of those who are challenged.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
What
But
was
the
that?
word wasn't challenged then.
it was a stand up, Damon Wayne. It
For real?
Damon Wayans,
was a while. It
you
was a
know,
while. Yeah, it's a lot of
and he
comedians
was picking,
do
yeah,
controversy stand up, man.
all right. What about what about when they did their whole skit of with Blaine?
Yeah,
Yeah, oh,
yeah.
all right. And they did the movie review.
Mm.
Can we go further? I mean, Jamie Foxx. You
Shanae.
see what I'm saying? I mean, bruhs,
Yeah,
we're not going to get away from this.
you're
We're not
right.
going to get away from this,
You're right.
right? So
Martin.
all I'm saying to all of us, all I'm saying to
Take it
all of
personal.
us
Don't take it personal, man.
is a comedian is like you said, he is or she is a comedian. They're telling jokes. I get outraged and take it personal again when they want to joke the church. I do. I do. But nobody's joining me in banning Netflix or any other major channel, any other major comedian because they joke the church. And the church is a sacred institution. There's only two sacred institutions in the world, and that is one is marriage and the other one is the church.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only two institutions that God put in place. But we don't get upset when either one of those are joked.
Wow.
Mm, that's
Wow.
deep. Let the church say amen.
Amen. We're just in a different society nowadays. It's not early 2000 or the 90s
Yo,
anymore.
that's what I was trying to tell y'all earlier when I was playing the music, man. That's how my Aunt Mary church used to like. Churches was different back then. You know what I mean? It's nothing against Pastor C and nobody else, but I think people was in it for the right reasons. You know,
Mm.
and not saying that Pastor C and a lot of they not, but I just think that like the old churches were, because we went on a church hunt. Some of the churches we was
Mm-hmm.
like,
Oh yeah, I
yeah.
remember.
We was like, yeah, it's nothing personal, but it's
If
just
you don't
like,
have no money, there's an ATM to the left and the right.
yeah, a church. A pastor told us that. A pastor told us that when we was there, and everybody, me and C's looked like they got, and we looked. They had ATMs everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you come through the door. But like you were saying, Pastor, I think that people take stuff to heart too easily, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like us being black males. It's like every day is a struggle for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every day is. You
Yes, it
know,
is.
and I just feel like overall that the LGBTQ community, I think they just need to sit down. Like everybody just need to sit in a room together, man.
I wish we could do that across the board.
It won't happen.
Really,
Nah,
across the board.
it won't
Us
happen.
dealing with police brutality, us just as a culture sit down with each other and just sit down with the LGBTQ community. Everybody like
Bring everybody to the
just
table.
everybody
Everybody
come to the table. What is your issue? What is your problem? What are we doing that is bothering you, or you feel like things can be better, and how can we understand you? But I don't think that'll happen. It
Why?
sounds too good to be true.
Yeah, you got wishful thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Because pastor, he went to church.
Well,
Church.
I'm just going to say it like this. I'm going to say, you know what? You know how everybody comes together, right? Because, my Bible says there's no Jew, no Greek, no slave, no free, no
Mm-hmm.
male, no female, but everybody's one in Christ. So if we all come together, we could come together on the common ground that there is a God that created every last one of us. What it really comes down to, man, is whether or not we respect the image of God in the human being that we see across the table from us.
Okay.
Yeah, nah, I understand that. That's important.
Okay. Because at the end of the day, everybody is created in humanness. I don't care what the person looks like. I don't care what their size. I don't care, what's going on. Uh, uh, you know, everybody is created the same as a human being. We all have the essence of being human.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. You know, they've been telling big people jokes for a long time.
We still do.
What?
We still do.
You better not.
We
You
still
better not.
Pastor
But still, you
Pastor
can
just got
tell
on
big
me
people
early.
jokes. But see, that's what I'm saying. You can tell big people jokes as long as you cracking on men. You can't tell big people jokes if you cracking on women. See
She
where I'm going
pregnant.
with that?
She pregnant.
Uh-huh.
They're gonna say she pregnant.
Oh,
You better not ask a girl she pregnant and she not.
What?
You might get slapped. You right. You definitely right.
This we could talk about this and go on and on and
Yeah,
on.
it's more than just the LGBTQ community, and that's what Pastor was saying earlier.
Yes.
It's not just this one group.
Community.
It's like everybody has something
Right.
that they keep getting picked on or bothered, bullied, whatever.
Right.
So for this one movement, and it's a movement.
It's a movement. And it's
it's a
moving.
move.
Yeah, this one movement is pushing waves. You know.
So how do we get together like they do? How can we get our movement like
we
that?
won't. We won't.
And that's
the problem. That's what Pastor's saying. That's the problem.
And I think that's go ahead.
Yeah, and when you talk about getting together, what are we getting together for? You see, after a certain whenever we see certain political legislation, then all of a sudden it's like, okay, what we together for? There was the civil rights movement, bam.
Yeah.
All right, there was desegregation, bam. You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So every time that there has to be a push, and the push of the LGBT community started because there was a time when people, and I disagree with those people, who did not want to give them equal access under health care.
Yeah,
That's
again,
That was
that
big.
goes back to exactly, that was big. And so it
Yeah.
goes back to everybody being human and respecting the
Yeah.
image of God in each individual person, regardless of where they're coming from, regardless of their skin color, regardless of certain other extremities. We still respect the fact that they are created in the image of God. Let's just start there.
Yo, you
Let's
preaching
start right
today.
there.
You preaching today.
Yeah, I gotta go here, man, because at the end of the day, if we don't start right there, then we miss what we're getting together for.
Right.
Because I'm getting together with you because I believe that you should be treated fairly and equally and with a certain amount of dignity.
right.
That's what I'm getting together on.
Amen.
Not
Yeah.
just to push one agenda or another agenda. I'm getting together to push a human agenda.
Amen.
You see what
There
I'm
you
saying?
go. Yes, sir.
And so with that being the case, when I push the human agenda, then the human agenda says that I respect your humanness.
Mm-hmm. That's where we got to start.
There you go. That's where we got to start at right there.
Start right there.
Yeah. Hey, you know what I was playing earlier? Oh, Happy Days. That's you made me feel like happy for that, because if we can do that, it'll make things better.
It would make things a lot better.
You're right.
But you're dealing with old people who have old views.
And we won't never get over
So
the
while
old
they have
views.
the old views and the old people, we're going to keep having situations like this where somebody's saying something and people are getting sensitive.
They react.
And they react.
I'm a reactor.
That's what's going on.
I react. I'm a reactor.
How you going to?
No, I'm just saying. I react. Yeah. Like when problems happen, people react. You react. Some people think things out, thought process. I'm a reactor.
You react.
I am. But I understand. I understand where Pastor's coming from. And it's like we worrying about, and like he was saying, I think people are worrying about the wrong things.
Yeah.
And if we all come together and focus on the one thing that Pastor was saying, it will make a world a better place.
Mm-hmm.
But we're divided. We're divided. And like you were saying, some people got older views.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just like when we all growing up, when you see kids playing,
They don't have no views.
kids don't see no color, no
No
nothing.
views.
They'll play with anybody that's playing.
Unless it's taught through their
But when you get older, the same kids that played in that sandbox can't come in the sandbox with you.
Nope. Nope.
It's rubbing off, man.
And it's all through socialization.
Yep.
It's all through socialization, man.
Yep.
You know how we're socialized, and
Yep.
and once and that's why I'm always pointing things out, especially when my sons were younger, when we watch TV, because I want them to pick up on the clues and the brainwashing that happens to us through all of our media streams,
Mm-hmm.
because it's trying to socialize us and divide us. As you said, when we come in this world, we're innocent. We are all equal. We see
Yep.
kids of all hues playing together, talking, socializing. They don't know anything about a sexuality, anything. They don't know anything.
Nope.
They just
Yep.
know that's another child, that someone that they can relate to and play with, and somehow they communicate. You
Yep.
know, we grow up and go to school and learn the English language. They communicate better as kids than we do as adults.
Wow.
Amen. You're right.
Wow.
Okay.
And you know
If we
why that?
want to see what God's world looks like, then we look at little kids before they go to school. You want to see what God's world look like? Look at children before they go to school, before the tender age of 3.
Like Winston.
Because
Right?
somewhere between 3 and 5, when we start teaching them to read, they start noticing differences.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So God's world looks like kids, looks like children, looks like toddlers who are dependent, who love, who just freely give and share. That's what God's world looks like.
Wow. You want
What we're dealing with today is man's world.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. You definitely. That's why I brought that point up.
Wow.
Like, because when they playing in a sandbox, everybody's playing with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get older, you can't go over there. You can't cross them lines.
Mm-mm.
Don't be over there with Tyrone and Cedric. Stay across. Just go on this side.
Wow.
I mean, that's how it is. And did I ever tell y'all when I went to school, I went to one of my buddy's houses, and his grandmother was a racist.
I think you did.
Yeah, his grandmother was a racist.
You
man.
didn't tell me about it.
Oh,
You
so
didn't tell me about it.
I went like for my buddy was like, because we was cool.
Mm-hmm.
We went to school together. He was like, man, come on to my house, whatever. We having like I think somebody's birthday. I went in there, right? His grandmother told him like I couldn't touch nothing.
You couldn't touch nothing.
I swear to God.
Mm-hmm.
She stared at me the whole time.
Wow.
The whole time.
Wow.
And then I even went over there to her.
Mm-hmm.
She ain't want to put her nose up, walked away, everything. So the guy's mother and father came and said, Eric, we feel bad that, our mother, we never raised our kids to be like this.
Mm-hmm.
He said, because when he went to school, he had, his best friend was a brother.
Uh-huh.
And just like his son, me and him was close. He said he thought that would change. But he said, my family still has these old values and rules. And it's nothing against me and my wife. We invite you into our house anytime.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully this experience wouldn't deter you from
coming around us.
No, he told me be friends with his son. Because he said he see how it hurt him and his buddies' relationship.
Wow.
Because of the old values and rules that his parents had that he shouldn't have been around.
Mm-hmm.
So me and him, we still talk. Like we text every now, but we never allow that because we, when you older, he could allow what they did to, venture and mess up our relationship.
Mess up our relationship and his views on how he felt about people.
But the reason why he didn't, because his parents didn't agree with what his parents was teaching.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a rare occasion. Usually it trickles down, like the pastor said.
Wow.
It trickles down from generation to generation.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
But
I
see
thought,
what you just explained, man, is how what you just explained, E, is how God gives everybody the power of choice.
you're right.
Everybody has power. It's not an automatic, man. So can I go ahead and say this? Hatred, sin is not an automatic. Sin and our participation in it is a choice.
The choice is
Things come by. You see what I'm saying?
yours.
And God loves us all enough that even though we make messed up choices sometimes,
You right.
right? Whether
You right.
it's hatred, racism, lying, cheating, stealing, whatever that choice is, he still loves us enough that he says, you know what? I'm going to cover that. I'm going to pay that debt. Now you choose whether or not you're going to continue to walk in that.
You gotta walk that path. Walk the path you're choosing. That's what you're saying. Deacon Yarbrough got your back today,
That's
Pastor.
right.
Deacon Yarbrough got your back. We on today. We on today. Except early, we wasn't on.
No,
We wasn't on
I had
early.
a moment.
Who? Me and Pastor?
I had a moment.
Oh, that's what brothers do. We gotta. It's dialogue. I'm not mad, and that's one thing. Everybody that's watching on Roku, Love Radio Network, it's dialogue. It's like me and Pastor can agree to disagree, but at the end of the day, I'ma still call him, bother him, say, "What's up, little man?" You know what I mean? I can only do that. I can only do that. I can only do that. I can only do that.
See what I'm saying?
I got bullied too, Pastor. They used to call me Four Eyes. Come on, Pastor, preach. They used to call me Four Eyes. You know what I mean? And now the women think glasses sexy. Now everybody want to wear glasses. C's don't even need glasses. He got glasses on.
What? C's, I thought those was real, baby. I thought those was real. C's.
They are at night.
See what I'm saying? It's night vision glasses, but he wear them all the time. Pastor, come on now. See what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
See, he ready to choke now. His wife said, I like glasses. Now he wear them every day. He wear them every day. So
that's funny. They was upset because I had cut my beard off for last weekend.
Oh yeah,
for Halloween.
Yeah. But like Pastor was saying, I truly understand. My thing was, I just think that, like he was saying, people always get like somebody's always going through something. Bullying, racism, it's always something, man. And if we don't know, or someone's listening right now going through something, and by us talking about it, it's probably allowing them to feel better about it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep.
So, it's nothing. It's nothing personal. It's never personal. At the end of the day, we all got different views. Everybody got their own mind. You think this way, think that way. And I don't think we was really off. I just wanted to tell them that everybody have a right to be upset.
Yeah.
I just think that you got to find a better way of converting that upsetness instead of doing the wrong things
and
make it positive. That's what I'm saying.
Make it positive and
do positive things. Yeah.
And I think that's of the world we do. We turn every situation into a negative. Some situations into a negative. Like with the Dave Chappelle situation, it could have been turned into you know what? Dave Chappelle turned
He invited them. He invited them to come talk to him.
And they didn't want to?
Nope. They said they didn't.
But he turned it into a positive with Daphne.
At the end.
Yeah.
That's what Dre said.
Talked to her.
Dre said that he flipped that at the end of the stand-up was great.
Yeah. And he went and talked to her.
But then he slammed the door again.
When?
He slammed the door when he said, when your daughter get older, I'm going to tell her father was a hell of a woman.
Yeah.
So see what I'm saying? That was funny. That was funny.
That was hilarious.
But it's hilarious to us. But how you know how other people feel?
But when Daphne took had his back on how she felt about Dave Chappelle,
because of Twitter, she helped him on Twitter. Yeah,
how she felt about him, and he said in his stand-up, she committed suicide. She killed herself because
all of the community was on her.
The community came back and was on her.
They said, "How can you be one of us and you with him?" That's the main reason.
Right. But he doesn't. We don't know if she killed herself because
of that. It could be other stuff
or whatever like that. But that's just like, this person is standing up for Dave. You had a chance to come in and see what he, wanted you to come in and talk to him and, figure out what's going on, but nobody's willing to do that. I just want to, no, you got to go. You got to go. Yeah. And that's not cool.
You're right.
That's not cool.
Yeah, you're right. I definitely hear you. I hear you.
Here it comes. Is it coming?
But
I hear you too.
I do. I hear him. But I'm trying to tell you, he slammed that door at the end, man. But my thing, Pastor C, it's comedy. At the end of the day, it's comedy. It's here to make us either, like when we go to a comedy show, everyone is not going to like the comedian.
No.
Some people going to like the comedian. Some people going to be like, oh, I ain't like. That's everywhere.
No.
At work, some people like Pastor. Some people don't like Pastor.
Mm-hmm.
At work, people like me. People don't like me.
Mm-hmm.
You see, people don't like. Yo, there's nothing we're going to be able to do with that. Right. We can't please everybody at the end of the day.
No.
At the end of the day. As long as you get the direct deposit, I'm happy.
I'm happy.
So
I'm happy.
So, fellas, it's about that time.
No.
It's always that time. You know, we're having good conversation, good dialogue. You know.
Way
Pastor,
too quick. Way too
Pastor,
quick.
you got something to say in closing, then I let C's, and then I close the door.
Well, here's the deal, man. Like you just said, there's something about everybody that anybody cannot like. But there is one somebody who loves everybody, whether or not you like him. And that is Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ says, I accept you, and you are accepted in the beloved. Does it mean that you become perfect? No, but he allows us to be perfected through him and by his spirit. So regardless if you are part of one community or another, be a part of the community that you need to be a part of to assure eternal life. And that is the kingdom of God. God bless you. Heaven smile upon you, and may he be gracious unto you.
Oh, good word. Go ahead,
Amen.
Go ahead, Cesar Leo.
In closing, I love everybody. I respect you in your place and where you are. And I just want everybody to try to find a different dynamic to come to where it comes to comedians and the jokes. They've been around for years, you know. I just wish that we can and hope that we can find a better way to come together instead of canceling people all the time. I respect your views. I respect you as people, and understand, but it's got to be a better way.
In closing, the most reactionary and dangerous parts of our current policies and culture are driven by powerful people who claim to be victims of groups that are far more vulnerable than they are. The irony is that these dynamics are increasingly present in matters of racism. Days after the closing aired, Chappelle performed at a sold-out event at the Holiday Bowl before an audience that included Nas, Lizzo, Stevie Wonder, Brad Pitt, and Tiffany Haddish. He remains powerful and influential despite the protests from small communities of activists and their supporters. The turbulence around the closure will, in all likelihood, amount to just another speed bump in Chappelle's path. The turbulence around this is important in guidance through the situation. He had the fact of the power that was never particularly noteworthy, because the one thing that has not been canceled are the checks. Once again, thanks for tuning in to Man Cave Dialogue. Have a wonderful day.
Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.